Oh, guys. Oh, we're going to have such a great intro. America 2020. That's probably God telling me not to do it. Nevertheless, I guess we're not going to do that. We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? Hope all of you are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. A little bit alive, a little bit early today. I think that you know the reason why. I am not going up against the shit show that most of what tonight will be. I have learned my lesson in the past of going live during a political night. I am not going to bring myself to that. The interns have been advised that if you get political in here, we're blocking you. Your subscription means nothing if you want to come into a sports show and talk politics. However, the one thing I will say is this. I hope that all of you did vote today. It is an election day. Many men and women laid down their lives to give you the right and the freedom to get out and vote. So I hope that you were able to do it. The Ruffinos were at the polls at 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time this morning to get it over with and get it done. So I hope that you did your civic duty. Lots to talk about, though. The college football playoff poll will be out tonight. We will touch on that in the beginning. Some things I'm hearing, I would expect LSU anywhere between that 13 to 15 ranking. I do expect Alabama to be ahead of them in that ranking as well. So we'll probably have a 12 to 15 matchup. So we'll talk about that. I have heard you ever so much. You do not want to talk about Saints on a live show. Got it. We don't have to do that. I will acknowledge, though, that Lattimore did get traded to the Commanders. The full rebuild is on the way. Now you got to find out if Ryan Ramczyk is retiring, and you got to cut Derek Carr. You got to eat the cost. Nobody's going to trade for him. So, full rebuild underway in New Orleans. LSU's do's and don'ts. We were going to get to this on Wednesday, but we're going to try to get in more guests tomorrow because of this whole stupid week. We have to change some things up. Normally, we have guests on Tuesdays from the opposing team. We will try to do that again tomorrow. So we're just going to shift some things up. So I'll give you 4 things that LSU must do, 4 things they have to avoid in doing if they're going to win this game. Look, man, I'm fired up. I hope you are as well. I really, really hope that you're fired up for this game because I am. It is so much is riding on this game. So much is riding on this game. So it's going to be very electric and very good. So we'll talk about that, the 4 do's and the 4 don'ts of what you need to do. Carter Bryant joins us at 5:35 Central Standard Time. Carter was calling a basketball game last night. So my favorite segment of the week. We'll get Carter in here and break down this LSU versus Alabama matchup. So looking forward to that. And tonight, Ruffino and Joe Show will be doing a reaction to the college football playoff ranking. So be on the lookout for that. Go over there. We'll talk about LSU on that too. So just in case that you're wondering, we'll talk about college football in general. Rob says, I voted 2 weeks ago. Greatest country in the world. Greatest country in the world without a doubt. Pegasus says, wait, what's going on today? Yeah. Nothing. Cadence says he's in Temple, Texas via the 31831. Great. Good to have you in here. Michael Morris is in Spring Hill as always. Broad 337 says 808 Hawaii up in this thing. Good to have you in here with us. Hawaii. They're listening to us in Hawaii, man. Can you imagine that? My mama always told me that we'd be doing big things. Here we are. Jasmine's in the 901 Memphis, Tennessee is in the building. Rob also says, let's go. Thanks for being early. Yeah, I've learned my lesson the hard way. Kedrick Washington says, go Tigers. Good to have you in here. Greg says you agreed. Yep, agreed. Time for Derek Carr to go next. Got to go. Time for it to go. Landon says, pray for Ben, Kurt's dog tonight. Oh, I thought you were talking about my son there. Pray for Ben, too. Pray for my son, Ben, too. Great kid. Fantastic kid. Love that kid to death. Got to get on to him sometimes. It's kind of tough. Hog BBQ says, you're my favorite LSU personality. Go Hogs. Well, thank you for being in here. By the way, to all the Hog faithful out there, I think that the Hogs, I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna say. I think Sam Pittman's gonna finish the season strong, and I think that he's gonna stay around. And I'm hearing some things about Bobby P staying around. Basically, your entire offense coming back next year too. David says no effing turnovers. Let's get it done. Run the damn ball. We'll talk about that at length here tonight as well. Carvis says, what's up, Blake? Good to have you in here with us, Carvis. But to David's point, yes. You're 130th in run calls. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. So, yeah. All right, I was going to let you show off this morning when the Lattimore thing went down, but y'all told me no more Saints. Got it. Here's what I would say if I were going to say something. I'm glad you're rebuilding. You need to rebuild. You need to get under the cap. You need a whole front office change. I mean, look, man, it's not going to be pretty, but it needs to be done. It 1,000% needs to be done. I'm glad that it's underway now. Lattimore, I mean, great player. Glad what he did for us, but the rebuild's on the way. So it's going to be tough. If you're a Saints fan, guys, I mean, they might win a couple more games here or there, but I think they're going to start mailing it in here. So now can you get the number 1 overall pick? And is Cam Ward going to be your quarterback next year? I think is the biggest question. Who gets Cam Ward? Cadence says, yes, run the ball, but more than a few yards per play, please. Even if you're running at 3 and 4 yards per carry, I think that if you do that enough, then you'll be fine. If you get to 4 yards a carry, you're going to be fine. I will remind you, you did that against UCLA. UCLA has a far better run defense than Bama does. I can't believe I'm saying that, but that's the truth. It is the God's truth on this glorious Tuesday. B. Rich is in the 505. I'll be at Tiger Stadium this weekend. A lot of people going to be in Tiger Stadium this weekend. I hope that place is a madhouse. I hope we break the concrete and steel, but everybody's safe. Max says Mickey's got to go. He's only around this long because Drew Brees was playing quarterback. I agree. 1,000% agree. Chris Lomax says, let's go watching from the workhouse. Well, it's a good place to be watching from if you're at work, because we got a lot of good things to talk about. A lot of good things to talk about. Speaking of that, let's get to it. We don't have a lot of time. Let's get to these do's and don'ts and then get Carter in here, and then we'll talk some LSU Alabama with him. Everybody do me a favor. Hit the like and share. If you're on Facebook, share to all those groups and all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag. Our good friend Tyler Alexander. Guys, literally, I'm not making this up. Literally a part of a team that is the best realty team in the state of Louisiana. You want your home sold. You are looking for a home. Call Tyler today. Get your home sold. You looking for a home, he can get you in one. It is the best time for you to give him a call. Just shop around. Shop around. Give him a call. Let him know that you heard it of him on AYS. Also, talk about our friends over at J&J Exterminating. When we come back, the 4 do's, the 4 don'ts, what LSU must do, and the things that they got to avoid to beat Alabama. We talk about that next. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
We're back. All right. Need to say this before we get rolling here, just so that we're all on the same page. I am closely monitoring LSU baseball. I think we're going to try to get John Eads on here from WBFB, who was in Biloxi this weekend, to give us an idea of what happened there. I did make some phone calls about the weekend today, this morning, about the and some text messages about what was seen from LSU baseball. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Guys in the infield, they are going to be insane. Daniel Dickinson at third, Braswell at short, Milam at second, Jones at first, Hernandez or Priester behind the plate. They really love Hernandez behind the plate. He hosed out 3 guys on Saturday and hit 2 doubles. With that being said, alone, guys, I'm going to tell you what I feel and have heard coming out of LSU baseball's, I don't want to say locker room, but here's what the feeling around that coaching staff is at the current moment. They think they got a damn good baseball team. Strong baseball team. Do they have enough arms is going to be the question, and I think that their biggest concern. Highly monitoring what's going on there. The big question that I had, I saw the comment in the chat, so I'll get to this. Carver says, where was Braswell? Braswell was at short. Dickinson was at third. So, going to continue to monitor. Chris Stansfield's got a lot of speed. Curiel, the freshman, is insanely good. So, Jake Brown making some plays. This team's going to be pretty solid, man. How do they finish? How do they overcome is going to be a massive question here. So, as it gets closer, normally we start around January, February when we start talking a little baseball here. I am monitoring the situation, believe you me. So, but we're in the heart of football season, so just wanted to throw that out there. Let's get to LSU's do's and don'ts. Things that LSU must do to beat Alabama this weekend. The things they got to avoid or not do so that they don't lose their playoff hopes in a new expanded playoff. Listen, we normally do this on Wednesdays. When we're doing this live, it's on a Tuesday. And if you're watching the clip, I guess it is on a Wednesday here. There are 4 things that LSU's got to avoid. It's going to be some of the same stuff all over again, and we talk about it every week. Some of these things are brand new. 3 of these things are brand new that we have talked about here. More in an analytical and just pure number standpoint, but just from an overall schematical standpoint on some things that you got to do. As I always mention, let's talk about the negatives, and then we'll get the things you got to avoid, and then the things that you got to do to win this game on Saturday. Number 1, you got to contain Jalen Milroe. Now, when you look at Jalen Milroe statistically, you say, well, man, I mean, he's only got 380 rushing yards on 102 attempts. I know that there's a lot of sack yardage in there, and that's fine. Here's the thing about Jalen Milroe that scares me in the running game more than anything is his running ability inside the red zone. Now, last year, Jalen Milroe ran for 12 touchdowns. 12, and that's a lot for a quarterback. Guys, halfway through the season, He's already at 12. What Kalen DeBoer and Nick Sheridan have done with Jalen Milroe so far this year, they're going to get him on the move in the red zone. It's not a question. It's not even up for debate at this point. When they get inside the 20s, you can expect and should expect number 4 for Alabama to be on the move, get on the move, and try to get him in the end zone. Guys, of their rushing touchdowns so far this season, Jalen Milroe leads the way in touchdowns. That is their overall plan. They want to get the running back, or what they would call, they want to get another hat in the blocking scheme and get a freakish athlete like Milroe out in space in the red zone. In between the 20s, they will run Milroe. It's not like they won't. But historically speaking, through the 8 games that we have seen them, when they get inside the 20s, they are going to get number 4 on the move. Ironically enough, 71% of his runs come in between the 20s. So, do I think that that's going to change a little bit more this week? Yes, actually, I do. I do think they're going to try to come out and see that you can stop a quarterback who can run on you, because he did it on you all last year. Marcel Reed did it on you 2 weeks ago. But I have a calming feeling that in 2 weeks, Blake Baker might be able to get this fixed. At least when things have been really bad, he's been able to fix it in the past. You got to be, so to the point about number 1, you have to be fundamentally sound in the red zone. You know what's coming. Guys, here's the truth. If you've watched Alabama all year, you know what's coming. I know what's coming. The defense and defensive coaches know what's coming. And after 2 weeks ago with Marcel Reed scoring 2 touchdowns, actually 3 touchdowns in the red zone running the football, you better expect that once Alabama, because this is going to happen, once they get inside the 20s, Jalen Milroe will be on the move. And to some extent, if you play the percentages, if you play the odds, the likelihood of Jalen Milroe being the guy that takes the ball in these zone read principles is going to be very high. Guys, he makes a lot of bad reads in the red zone because he wants to run the football. You got to just have all eyes on number 4. If you put 40 on him, I don't think Whit Weeks is fast enough to get to him. I'm going to be real with you. I don't know what you do there. I don't think Whit is fast enough to get to him. Not corner to corner or post to post. He's not. So it's going to be interesting. What teams successfully have done is overly extend the containment. So basically they're bringing tons of edge pressure with bringing in a spy or using the DTs to level up what Jalen Milroe has done. It's what they've done in the passing game too. So again, the number one thing that you got to avoid, and yet you must do, you got to contain number 4, especially in the red zone, because if you don't, he's going to beat you again. He's already tied his rushing total touchdowns from last year. Number 2, you cannot be predictable in the passing game. We've talked about this ad nauseum. What Bama is going to do is not, how do I want to say this? It's not overly difficult of what they're going to do to you defensively. There are going to be times that they send heat after you. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if they do or when they do or if they do, because offensively in the offensive line, you have been really good at 2 things, pass blocking and protecting when blitzes appear. You have not had, and here's the truth, based off the call that this O-line has gotten, or what it appears that they have gotten, they have not missed many assignments in pass pro. The reason that it is more of an emphasis this week more than most of being diverse in the passing game is for one simple reason. They're going to run man-to-man coverage. And when they go 2-man, or when both safeties are going to be technically in a zone, but they're probably going to shade number 2. I have a pretty good thought that, as most teams have done, they will at times shade more to number 2 than they will to other receivers. mainly due to the fact they're playing the percentages just like everybody else is, in the sense that they know that you're going to target him at least 60% of the time. It's what you've done all year. And being predictable. Guys, you're going to lose the football game if you can't find ways to get the ball to number 86, Mason Taylor. You can't get the ball to Aaron Anderson. You can't get the ball to CJ Daniels. And if you can't get the ball to number 3 and Chris Hilton. And here's another part of the predictability that I want to throw in there, especially with a guy like Chris Hilton returning. Because Chris Hilton showed you that if you do things other than run a fade route with him, everybody knows that he's running a fade route. Everyone knows that he's running a go. You knew it. I knew it. Texas A&M 2 weeks ago knew it. But what happened when he didn't? When he ran a hitch route? When he ran a dig? Well, he exploded on them because teams are so worried about number 3 getting the football down the field that he's going to be open in the intermediate, and his speed can get you that extra yardage. So whether it is Mason Taylor, whether it is Aaron Anderson, whether it is Kyron Lacey to some extent, whether it is CJ Daniels, whether it is Chris Hilton, whether it is Xavion Thomas, I promise you this, as God is my witness, they have not seen a better receiving core than what you have right now. They have not seen a better passing attack than what you are right now. Now, that is a better passing attack if you're limiting turnovers, which we're going to get to next. Guys, if you're going to throw the ball 45 to 50 times a game, then you're going to have to get half of those targets outside of the realm of Kyron Lacey. It's got to happen. I love Kyron more than anybody. But you cannot show me, because I've seen it, so I know, nor convince me that there's not an overarching theme of getting number 2 the football. I want Kyron to get the ball too. What I also want is that, and know is, you legitimately have playmakers there. You got to feed them. Again, Aaron Anderson does not have half the targets of Kyron Lacey, but is 4 yards behind him in production and receiving yards. The truth of it is, with an inside slot receiver, when they run man-to-man coverage, Aaron Anderson more than likely is going to be open a lot on Saturday. And you got to look at him early and often and make them change things up. You got to get number 1 the football. I don't care what anybody says. Number 1 has to see at least 5 to 8 targets at minimum. If you're going to throw the ball like that, he's got to see that many targets. He is too gifted. He is too shifty, and he has shown, ironically, the ability to break tackles. Let your playmakers make plays. And Nuss has to make that decision very quickly. Number 3, this is simple. Look, man, here's the bottom line. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because you're probably nauseated of me talking about it, but it's the truth. When you're making those good decisions and getting other playmakers the ball in space, you can't make boneheaded plays. Like the second interception against A&M a couple of weeks ago, I don't mind, ironically. You got beat. You got beat. Garrett got beat. They had a better play call on defensively. You called a quick hitch. Garrett threw it. He got baited. It's a pick. Oh, well. Now, there's nothing I can say on that. Because A&M beat you. And here's the truth. Now, don't tell them this because they're A&M fans are – they don't cope with reality well. So I don't want to get into arguments with them. I'm kind of past getting into arguments with them. Don't know if you saw me and Billy Lucci found common ground this week. Guess the Lord is coming soon. Because they needed 6, what I consider 6 turnovers to beat you 2 weeks ago. 6. 2 missed field goals, a botched snap, 3 interceptions. Because that's what they had to do. your biggest issue, I don't care if I am your favorite LSU personality or someone else is. I don't care if you can't stand my guts or you worship the ground that I walk on, which you need to go worship Jesus, the ground that Jesus walks on, not mine. All I am saying is you cannot continue to turn the ball over. And even when you do, I can live with you getting baited. I can live with a physical mistake in reference to, like, you overthrow a dig route and it gets picked off. I can live with that. You made a right decision, but physically you made a bad throw. I can live with that. We all make mistakes there. What I cannot continue to live with, and what is going to get you beat, if LSU loses on Saturday, it's going to be because of turnovers. 100%. The question that I continue to come back to, where are you as a program and team if you don't have that? If you even cut those in half, be mad, glad, sad, don't care. But one thing I know for sure, if you keep turning the ball over at the rate that you are, guys, you're 9 wins, you'll be lucky. You're lucky to win some of the games that you've been winning with the turnovers that you do have. That's the truth. All right, number 4. I think Alabama's going to come in here and be penalized a lot. They have not shown me that they're a disciplined team. What you cannot do is that these false starts and these penalties offensively, with, let's call it what it is, your 2 All-American tackles have got to stop. It's a lack of focus. It is 1,000% a lack of focus. I know that some of those have come on. Will Campbell, as an example, pointing out a blitzer to Garrett. I understand what he's doing. I had a conversation with a coach this week, or somebody this week. I'll just say it like that. I had a conversation with somebody this week, and I'm like, "What's up with this?" Because does Garrett not know the protection? Like, what's going on? And what I think is happening here is with these false start penalties. Number one, these guys are in their stance for over 20 seconds, and that's got to stop. But secondly, and more importantly, when you let the clock go down to 0 and teams are adjusting on you, you're having to redo everything in the calls that you and protections that you have. Don't give Alabama free yardage. The big thing too is that you got to stay out of 3rd and long and be in 3rd and manageable. And these penalties offensively have got to let Bama beat themselves. Don't let them stay in the game by you reciprocating those penalties. A&M, I get it was on the road, but man, I got to be real with you. Some of these guys have played a lot of football that are having these penalties. It's inexcusable. I don't care if you're an All-American or if you're a doo-doo American. I don't care what it is. You're too experienced to have those penalties. If the clap isn't working, go to a silent count. Go to what we call the hip check, where the guard turns around, he doesn't get set, the guard turns around, hits you, set, go. You see it in the NFL all the time. This Mike Tomlin has done the hip check with his offense literally over a decade, and it doesn't fail. It doesn't fail. There are things that you can remedy, but you got to get moving quickly. All right, let's run through some of the dues here. Carter Bryant in a couple minutes here. Number 1, listen, I don't care if anybody disagrees with me. Here's what I got to say. The number 1 thing that LSU has got to do here, at some point, LSU has got to continue to run the football. Blake, we can't run the football. No, that's not necessarily completely true. Not completely true. You're 132nd in the country. Excuse me, correction. You're 130th in the country in run attempts. 130th. you're not giving it enough of a shot. So not only can you say, well, we can't run the football. Okay, that's fair. If you want to say that you can't, even though I don't necessarily believe you, you're still not even attempting it. One thing is for sure about this game. I feel strongly, and I'm highly convicted, that you're going to run the football this week. I think you're going to have some success. I think you're going to figure something out. And when you get those 4 yards on first down, I pray to God that Joe Sloan lines it right back up and runs it again. Because 3rd and 2 is much more capable, so much easier 3rd and 2 than being in 3rd and 10 like you've been a lot this year. So again, you're 130th in EPA per run call efficiency rate. I think you can run on Bama this week. Again, we talked about this last night. They're 66 in the country, or 62nd in the country in run defense. Teams have run the ball on Bama. I'm not asking you to have 200 yards rushing. Along with that, too, you know what else I'd do? I'd go 5 wide and run a quarterback draw and get 6-7 yards. Garrett, get down. Don't take a hit. If you're scared to take a hit, don't take a hit. Guys, I promise you, as God is my witness, they are going to play man coverage. Every time a team, Vandy did this 3 times and it worked. They went 5 wide and Diego Pavia ran a quarterback draw because linebackers were moving out of the box. If they're going to do that, you got to take the yardage. Sorry. Blake, he's not Joe Burrow. He's not Jaden Daniels. I don't give 2 flying shits who he is. If they have 4 dudes in the box and you're going 5 wide, you better run it. I am going to kick a door in if that doesn't happen. All right. Number 2, send the heat. Now, you got to be careful with Milroe because if he breaks contain, you're in deep shit. Problem is, I look at the Tennessee game. I look at the Vanderbilt game. Which, by the way, Vanderbilt's defensive line is 26th in the country in run defense. That's why Vandy's kind of winning some games here. Alabama's 82nd in the country in sacks allowed. With that being said, I think Blake is going to send some heat this week. And here's also what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to go full Bama and play man too high or man high. Ashton Stamps. If you want to get after Jalen Milroe, it has nothing to do with your front 7. Has everything revolved around Ashton Stamps and Zy Alexander and who can get Ryan Williams. Here's what I know for a fact. Even though Ryan Williams was not old enough to vote today, he's a 17-year-old, every time a team has gotten physical, let's get physical. And I'm not talking about relations with your wives or husbands. He's going to fold. Pop in that Tennessee film. They were going straight Street Fighter. How you get Sonic, boom. He was getting lit up in the first half. Guys, in the second half, he didn't have a catch. Oh, excuse me. He had a catch. My man was alligator arming stuff left and right. You go full high you get on Ryan Williams, Ashton Stamps, Zy Alexander, my man is going to fold. I promise you. So is Jeremy Bernard. Kendrick Law is the only dog out there, if I'm being real with you, hey, bro, Kendrick Law got that Louisiana in him. You want to talk shit? You want to run your mouth? You want some gangsters in front of your house? Kendrick Law will set this thing off. I'm just going to let you know. I know he's at Bama. He will set it off. Send the heat. Jalen Milroe. Think about this. Jalen Milroe tied last year's total with 6 interceptions. All 6 interceptions this year came under pressure. So he's already tied his rushing TD total. He's also tied his interception total. All of them have come off of pressures from a D-line. Let me run through these 2 really quickly. Number 3 is easy to me. It's you, the fan. The people that are going to be there. Seth Valley. You're going to show up. So be loud on third down. Bama will fold. All right, last but not least, here's an interesting stat. As our good friend Josh Pate would say, maybe a paper popper. Alabama is 66th in the country on third down. And why that is very crucial. Think about this. Alabama is 132nd in the country at third downs run at 3rd and 6 plus. They're worse than you. What does that mean? Because they're dead last, almost dead last in the country at converting third downs at 3rd and 6 plus. So tackling early in downs is critical. When you make Milroe a passing quarterback, they have faltered and they have failed. Here's an interesting thing, though, in the inverse. Guys, they're 7th in the country when it's 3rd and 5 short. 7th. So Milroe will get out in space and get those 4 or 5 yards to get him a first down. So those are the LSU do's and don'ts this week. Guys, I feel confident that you can win. I do. But I'm telling you right now, if you turn the ball over and you allow Milroe to get moving in the running game in the red zone, you're in deep shit. You're in deep shit. But it is what it is. All right, let me get to a commercial break. When we come back, the man's here. Carter Bryant joins us next. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirement. Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Easy Free Bail Bonds, LLC, where they get your feet back on the street. There may come a time where a loved one or yourself is arrested and you don't have enough money to get bail from jail. Easy Free Bail Bonds will assist you in the process of getting bail bonds for your family. These bonds are a way to ensure that you're financially covered when a predicament like an arrest occurs. Easy Free Bail Bonds is located inside the state of Louisiana with an expert team of bondsmen that are available to assist you or your family 24/7. The team is professional and has a high-quality work ethic that will give you nothing but satisfaction. The company takes feedback from past customers in order to better their services and are always looking to accommodate and mold their services that best fit your needs. Remember this number, 985-517-3631. That's 985-517-3631. Because when you need to get back on your feet and back on the street, you know who to call.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J exterminating. Yeah.
Carter, the power, Bryant. Who are you voting for Heisman since it's an election day?
Oh,
Isn't that who we're voting for today?
yeah.
Heisman.
At this juncture, I'd probably give it to Cam Ward, but at the same time, I would love a non-quarterback to win it, and I wish there was 2 separate Heismans given to a quarterback and a non-quarterback, kind of like
They're
what's
just
happening.
not going to give it to Travis Hunter. As good as he's been, I don't think they're going to give it to him.
Yeah, I think at this point Cam has a firm grasp on it. But Blake, also at the same time, I'm going through this in the NFL right now. Derrick Henry should be the MVP, but quarterbacks are just so valuable in the NFL that it's not even going to – you can't really – add the two. I remember a few years ago, we got in a legendary argument between Bryce Young and you're Bryce Young for Heisman. I was Will Anderson for Heisman. It's tough to separate it, right? Because, the quarterback.
Never mind. I'm going to leave that alone.
No, go ahead. Say what you're going to say. Go ahead.
And the right person won the Heisman.
Oh, come on. Will Anderson that year was otherworldly, not as good as Braden Swinson.
But here's the thing.
Huh?
I saw Will Anderson get absolutely dominated by 2 true freshmen in Death Valley too.
That is true.
Physically,
that is true. That's true. But that wasn't.
Spare me.
But that wasn't the Heisman year.
I know, but spare me. That man got his cheeks clapped. I mean, I'm sorry to say it like that, but that's just the truth.
Yeah, he had only one good pressure, but other than that, it was just pure domination.
And that was pure luck.
Yeah, and I will also say this before we go any further. If you're on the fence about going to this game and you have a reasonable shot of going to a game, someone offers you a face value ticket, someone says, hey, I'm not going because of the rain, you need to go. You need to go. Because Blake, there was nothing like being in that building back in 2022. That was probably my favorite Tiger Stadium game ever. I thought nothing would top 07 Florida. That one did. So if you have the opportunity to go to an LSU Bama at night, you're never guaranteed this. You don't know what's going to happen to the schedule format 2 years from now. I don't want anyone to think, hey, automatically we're going to play Alabama every year. That is not a protected rivalry. Alabama-Auburn.
It's going to be a protected rivalry.
I would like to think so, but I think there really is only one non-negotiable for pretty much every team. I would like to think that they would continue to play each other every year. I want them to, but it's not a guarantee. So that's why you need to take it.
They're not going to give LSU Mississippi State and take Bama off. I cannot see it. I legitimately can't see it.
Yeah. So if every team, let's just say the SEC a few years from now decides, hey, every team gets one permanent, right? Well, Alabama
would get Auburn.
Yeah, Bama would get Auburn. So
Texas A&M would get Texas A&M. You'd probably get Arkansas.
No, because Arkansas will keep Missouri. There's a lot of sponsorship dollars now in that game.
Okay, well then LSU will get Ole Miss. Well, it can't get Ole Miss because Ole Miss got Mississippi State.
So it'll be Oklahoma. That's what they're going to do.
No, Oklahoma, they're not getting rid of the Red River rivalry.
I mean, they might if you have to choose.
They're not getting rid of that. They just signed an extension until 2032 where the SEC and ABC is going to be there until 2032. That's not going anywhere.
So what they will probably do is give every team 2 permanents. And
so they're going to go to the pod system.
Yeah.
They're not going to call it a pod system, but it's going to be a pod system.
What I think will happen. All right, this is my solution to all of it. And I know we just want to talk about
last point
is get rid of the conference championship game and add an extra regular season game for everybody in college football.
It will never happen.
Yeah, but
it's never going to happen.
If the powers that be came to Carter Bryant and said, "Hey, what would you do?" That's exactly what I would do.
There's a better chance of me divulging. Never mind. I'm going to leave that alone. There's just it's just not going to happen. Too much money's involved in that too. But it is what it is. All right.
Yeah.
It's LSU Bama week. Carter, Look, I feel like the fan base feels in this one. I'm kind of antsy a little bit because, I mean, look, you're coming off a very bad performance against A&M, and how do you respond to it? Playoffs on the line. Brian Kelly, year 3. Let me ask you the first question because I want to get to your biggest strength and the biggest concern. Let's start off with the biggest concern here. Going into this game, okay, as antsy as I am for this team to go back out there and prove who they are, what is your biggest concern going into this game with LSU versus Bama?
Yeah, so let me start by saying LSU is going into this game playing one bad half versus A&M. And look, you take what you take from the Arkansas game, and then you take what you take from the first half of Texas A&M. You played 3 very, 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 very good quarters of football to where, Blake, if you were watching that game, I think you probably felt the same way and everyone else. You felt like LSU was like for sure a lock to the playoff. Like that's how I felt after watching that first half. We're going to take care of A&M in the second half. And then obviously that changed. So going into this game, if you are wanting one big positive for LSU versus Bama, yeah, Bama beat Missouri 34-0, but Missouri didn't have Brady Cook, right? That game would have been at least competitive like all the other Bama games had been prior. LSU had been playing their best football, and Bama had been on a regression. Now, that doesn't mean anything going into this game, especially with 2 bye weeks for both teams going into this game. But LSU had been playing better football than Alabama had been playing, or at least closer to their peak. So, to me, Blake, my biggest concern is Garrett Dellinger not being in this game. You know, you look at a lot of the LSU-Bama games where they have had issues when losing to Alabama is right up the middle in that interior of the offensive line. And Blake, you know that position better than I have.
Carter, I think they're going to run on them.
So you and I heard you talking about that earlier. You think LSU, with the rushing attack being as putrid as it's been in some of these SEC games, you feel like LSU is going to be able to run the football?
Yeah, because they're 130th in the country in EPA per run call. Okay. Yep. And per all of it, they're averaging 4.9 yards per carry.
Yeah. So
here's the real truth. You want to get to the real truth? The real truth is that you're not running the ball enough to say that you're bad. Oh. That's the real truth in all of this. Because think about this, Carter. They're 62nd in the country in run defense is Bama, right? The thing in that though too. Think about this. You have faced 4 top 10 run defenses: UCLA, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M.
Okay.
This Bama interior defensive line has the propensity of getting moved.
And you think LSU in their current faction up the middle can do that?
No, not all game, but I think as they wear on in the fourth quarter, yeah, I do. Because here's what I think is going to happen. I think Brian Kelly's going to be heavily involved in – I think this is what's going to happen. I think they're going to call a run, and Brian Kelly's going to say, hey, I think we should do X, Y, and Z here. I think that they're going to take some things from Tennessee with Caden Durham because they play man-to-man coverage, and they're going to get in motion and go numbers and let Caden Durham just outrun and eliminate the offensive line. But I do. Because here's the thing. I saw Vandy do it. I saw Vandy push around that Bama front interior. Yeah, I think you can do it because I think you're better than them there.
Interesting.
Carter, think about that.
I'd love to.
I mean, I would too. Now, look, I'm taking a big leap of faith and putting in Paul Mabenga. Here's the thing, though. Paul was fundamentally sound in where his assignments he needed to be. The problem is that physically I think it was like, oh shit, I'm coming in. And yeah, I don't think that like mentally he was prepared for how physical it was going to be, if that makes sense. But assignment wise, he was there. If Vandy can do it, look, if we come out of this game and you cannot run in the interior for 4 yards of carry, I'm going to lose my mind because I saw Vandy do it. You better be able to run up in there. And here's another thing too, that I want to make it very well known. Josh Williams, Caleb Jackson, there might be a small crease and that you got to run through some garbage. You better light a motherfucker's head off. You better knock it because, Carter, I see small creases in this all-22 copy. Run through their ass.
Yeah, I know. Hit it. Hit that thing.
Stop stutter stepping. Carter, I feel like this running back room is doing the cha-cha now, y'all. When they're getting to the hole. That's also what she said. Hit the hole, run them over. If Vandy can do it, you can do it.
Well, the last time this game was played, Josh Williams did that in Tiger Stadium.
I just hit the cha-cha now, y'all.
Yeah, no, turn it out. I love it.
Last time to get funky. This might be the last time that you can get funky in the running game. If you're going to find it, you're going to find it this week.
Yeah, so obviously Josh Williams just ran over Alabama like crazy. He had 3 all-time great truck sticks. One was a block. But, yeah, you would love to see it. I'm just – even though Alabama – like you're right. Like Alabama has given up, rushing yardage. In particular, you're right about the Vanderbilt game. And – like I said, it was a dominant game versus Missouri, but they just had no shot. I mean, Missouri.
Here's another thing though. Mizzou stuck around with them when Cook was in there.
Yeah, and look, I'm just not as confident LSU will be able to run the ball on them. Now I hope I'm wrong. I really, really, really hope I'm wrong. And I hope
the ball.
So I'm with you, especially if it's Caden Durham, the way he's played.
I got to be real with you. Don't run him in between the tackles. I'm tired of seeing it.
Oh, so you want more Josh and Caleb?
Yep, I do. Because I know Josh is going to put his head down and go for it. I know Caleb in the pistol will put his head down and go for it. Here's the truth. We're putting a lot on this offensive line. I've had 2 weeks to watch this over and over again. He's stutter stepping when it's inside. Outside, Carter, think of his big runs. What have they done? Where has he been? Go ahead.
I mean, some of them have been, up the middle, but a lot of them are in space.
A lot of them are in space. I think you need to get him out in space and let him work, and you need to tell Caleb Jackson, hey, dog, it's time to roll. Carter, I'm tired of pussyfooting around because sometimes it's not going to be pretty. It's never going to be pretty. So I'm not asking you to run for 200 yards. I'm asking you to run for 150. It's what I'm asking for you to do.
Yeah, honestly, Blake, I do think Josh has actually had a fine season. I think, even in some dirty situations, he's run guys over. And I think this could be – I'm with you. I think this could be a big Josh Williams game.
It needs to be.
And
Carter, here's the thing. UCLA, how much of UCLA have you watched?
Since
since.
Yeah, I watched a good bit of the fourth quarter versus Nebraska. Defensively, they've looked pretty good.
And against Oregon, they're 11th in the country in run defense. And you ran for over 150 yards on them. They're better than Bama in the interior. I'm going to say it. They are. Like they were giving Oregon issues, massive issues in the run. That's why they're 11th in the country in run defense. I mean, they went up against you. And so, look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just too naive. Maybe I am. And probably you are right. You better run it up and punch them right in their mouth. We do have Ron Skipper in here with a $5 super chat. Says this game will be decided by turnovers. I don't trust Nuss Bus. I'm going to get to your biggest concern or your biggest positive, next. But what do you think of Ron's super chat here?
Yeah, it's been bad with Garrett Nussmeier, but I know you've basically called it out since day one. I have as well, but I've been a little bit more defensive, knowing because there hadn't really been a running game. There's been so much on his shoulder. What I will say is this Alabama team is not as well coached as Saban's Alabama teams. It's not, a mystery. They haven't been terrible. Kane Womack has been a little bit better, even though, he's been called out quite a bit for the second half versus Georgia and what happened versus Vanderbilt. But, I do think LSU might have an advantage in the passing game.
I agree.
I do think this could be the game where Garrett hits some of these deep balls. His deep ball accuracy has got to be better. And Blake,
he's throwing so many too.
Yeah, I mean, take those shots when they are given to you, especially if they're going to play a lot of man coverage. And Blake, a lot of things do, shape up for this to be a really good Kyron game. So I hope that is the case. And I hope Aaron continues his ridiculously high level of play. And then obviously, Mason Taylor's history with Alabama. Not so great last year, but the year, obviously in 2022, was an all-timer. So really excited to see Nuss go up against a really good defense. And, these are two of the best teams, Blake, in terms of, you mentioned EPA efficiency, opponent-adjusted EPA efficiency. Alabama is amongst the elites, and LSU is, right on the cusp of the elites.
LSU is 29th in EPA-adjusted run game.
Yeah. No.
So think about that if you're going to bring it up. Here's the thing. If I'm Garrett, I'm not going to Kyron early.
Oh, okay.
Aaron Anderson has 4 less receiving yards than Kyron and has half the targets. His production per percentage is bigger. And here's the thing about the air raid, the way that I see it. If you're going to run it, you got to be efficient in how you're doing it. Meaning, if you're throwing the ball on first down, it's got to be a completion. You got to complete 80% of your passes on first down if you're going to throw it. It's how the air raid works. Meaning, Aaron Anderson is giving you the same amount of more production than Kyron is based off the amount of targets that Kyron gets. Does that make sense?
No. I'm agreeing with you. Yeah.
So I'm getting number 1. And by the way, Alabama is ready for number 3 to go on a fade route. Carter, look. Chris has put on 15 pounds. Throw him the hitch, throw him the dig, let his speed, let them be overly concerned of his speed, and then you got to get 86 involved. So I think the game doesn't come down to Kyron Lacy. I think the game comes down to if you get those other 3 guys the ball, CJ Daniels, you get those other 3-4 guys the ball early and efficiently. Carter, think about this. You have 50 passing attempts against Texas A&M. Aaron Anderson had 5 targets. That's not – it is abysmal. It is abysmal that happened. The reason why they didn't change that, I have no idea. Carter, they didn't go to him in the fourth quarter. They didn't throw him the ball once in the fourth quarter. That is I don't want to say fireable, but I mean, come on. Let's get to your biggest strength here. What is your biggest strength for LSU going into this game versus Bama?
Yeah, that Dallas Turner is not on the other sideline. I mean, for 3 straight years, he was an issue. 2022, we were, okay versus him, but 2021, he took over the fourth quarter, and then obviously what happened last year. So this offensive tackle matchup for LSU, I for the most part, I do with Will and Emery, and that should make Garrett feel a little bit better about this situation. And then obviously you flip it over to the other side. Blake, Milroe has regressed. And look, I did a very public Power Hour SEC piece saying that this is what I thought he was going to be. And then after the Georgia game, I thought I was delirious. I'd gotten so much hate. How can you do such a video? And then, he fell back down to earth once defensive coordinators started to figure out making him go through his reach and just make him being a pure thrower. Now, has he been banged up? Yeah. Many and Alabama circles feel he's been hurt, and that's going to make you feel a little antsy because he will have probably a little bit more juice in those legs for him to go run and make some big time plays. So you must keep your rush lane integrity. Blake, I'll be releasing a film study just actually a little bit later when I go live tonight. I get my days mixed up since I'm on here now. I think Tennessee did an awesome job.
Bingo.
And look, Tennessee's got an overall better defense than LSU does.
But the schematics of what they did doesn't change on how you want to do it. Make him step up and then let your interior defensive line get in his face is what they did.
Right. And what I would do, and this is where LSU got themselves in a lot of trouble. Yeah, they didn't do the QB spy thing, which was just stupid, and that made it that much easier. But you have to be very cautious in your rush lane integrity. It is so critical. Tennessee did a really good job of that with their defensive tackles. And sometimes Blake, the LSU DTs, in trying to go make plays, trying to go make havoc, that's what this defense is based off of. You as a DT have to stay patient. You have to mush it up a little bit and not let him get clean runs, not only in terms of actually running, but a clean pocket for him to step up into. And this was the sequence that really stuck out to me. So early in that game versus Tennessee, Jalen Milroe had a play where he was in the pocket and read through a full read and made a really good throw on a dig, and it was completed over the middle. But Tennessee didn't panic. They forced him to keep trying to make that throw. And if you remember how that game ended, they forced Jalen Milroe to make that throw, and he threw the game-ending pick. So make him throw over the middle, make him have to make these difficult cross-field, cross-hash throws where mechanically he's not really all that great. And if you do that, you should be in a better spot than where you were last year, because even though Ryan Williams is there and he's better than Isaiah Bond's not walking through that door. Amari Nyblack was a good tight end for them, so not walking through that door. So,
if you're physical with Williams, he breaks. He breaks. If you're physical with him, like I saw that Tennessee game, brother, he wanted nothing. He was running routes half speed. He got broken. They were lighting him up, and he got broken. So if you can be physical with him, he's 17, and he's going to learn better. But, I mean, I'm telling you, they were lighting him up, and it was a big issue. Milroe goes to him over the middle in the second quarter, and he gets popped. Brother, he runs the same route like 7 plays later, and Milroe misses him, and he's like, they're coming off to the sideline. He's like, what are you doing? Like, you got to run.
And obviously, Alabama will be stupid to not do some zone read stuff. So when you see it, just do your job.
Right.
Just do your job. That's all. That's what the zone read preys on. That you overcommit, get out of your gap. That's just basically any read variant play. The Darren McFadden Wildcat all the way to the zone read now. They're looking to make one cut and gone, and you've got to just carry out your assignment, and then if it gets second and long, third and long, you want to get crazy and try and make a spectacular play, go for it. But on the zone reads, if you see that, go through your reads as a defense, which is basically your job, and then go make a play.
One thing that does concern me, if we're talking about Milroe running and him getting healthier during a bye week, he's already tied his rushing TD total from last year. Okay.
Yeah.
Carter, most of them are coming in the red zone.
Yeah, he's been good. Yeah.
He's been very good, and they've been getting a hat on a hat and him running in the red zone. So when you get inside the 20s, you better expect him to run the football. Like, I'm gonna be a little real with you. If I'm Braden Swinson, I'm making him give the ball off. On these reads, I'm making him give the ball, because I can live with Justin Haynes, okay? But what I can't live with is you knowing that he's going to pull it, and even when he gives it, you got to go hit him. He's a free player there. There's no protection of him once he gives that ball off. Zero, because he's in a zone read. Brother, you got to light him up. I'm telling Braden Swinson, hey, man, you got a 982 on NCAA 25. You better go earn it. Time to go earn it.
Oh, man. Stadium.
By the way, he's the best pass rusher in the game right now.
Good. Stadium pulse all the way up.
All the way up. All the way up. All right.
No, I one more thing on that.
Okay.
If you want to get motivated for red zone stop, just go watch that Michigan play on repeat. That is one of my favorite defended plays of all time. Michigan just folding J.C. Latham into. I mean, I'll never forget that Rose Bowl play. One thing that I would very much caution LSU against, and this has been a problem, which is guarding the running back throw out of the backfield.
Yep.
Milroe loves throwing to the running back out of the backfield on mesh rails, on just little outs. And the reason why he likes it is because it's easy. Okay. It's something that's very easy. Now, normally mobile quarterbacks don't throw to the running backs out of the backfield all too much, but this is a little bit different here with Milroe, because they try and scheme a lot of easy throws to get them in a rhythm, get the defense going from left to right. And Blake, you've seen it this year. LSU's had some issues with that, so you must be ready for it.
I wouldn't be surprised if LSU runs a lot of cover 2 this week.
Okay. Let's see it.
I think they're going to try to force him to make those throws, those fade route throws on the boundary. And if you do it, all right, we'll stop calling it. The thing with Tampa too in these run games, and to your point about the pass game, I just wouldn't be surprised if you don't see some different looks defensively. I think that they're going to throw some different things at Bama this week. They're gonna make look, man. They're gonna throw different things at him. I think you're gonna see cover 2, and you'll be like, "What?" LSU hasn't run cover 2 probably ever. I can't remember the last time they've run cover 2. But here's the thing that I would say: if you pop on that Tennessee film, they showed man free, okay, and they ran cover 2 over and over and over again. Who was the number 3? Who's the DB at Tennessee, number 3?
I wish he had the big pick on Ryan Williams in the red zone. Yeah,
it's cover 2. It's legitimate cover 2. That's why Milroe gets baited and the pick goes, because you have a DB that's coming back to the receiver in a cover 2. What they did was, I think this is what I think Tennessee did. To your point, they like throwing the ball to the running backs out of the backfield, and they think they put their corners in space that they could take care of that. The problem with LSU running is that your safety plays got to be on point, and I don't know if I trust Sage Ryan on Ryan Williams. That's the only downfall in that.
Yeah, that don't give me nightmares tonight.
Well, I mean, I think they're going to try it just to see what happens, especially on early downs. All right, last thing here. Who wins the football game and why?
I've actually not given my prediction yet. Look, I've seen Alabama. Are they, to me, a top 3 team in the SEC? No. And this is probably the first time in forever LSU has played this game, and I can comfortably say that. I picked the under on their win total, and before the season began, Blake, I picked LSU to win this game. Coming off a bye at home, I honestly felt there were some things LSU has on this team that will give Bama fits. And one thing Bama's always been able to do, going back to the Saban regime, and some here with the Womack. Look, Malachi Moore is a great safety, number 3. I know a lot of people, pound him for the mouthpiece throw at the end of Vanderbilt, but he's been damn good for them. Jahad Campbell
brought him back against Tennessee.
Jahad Campbell. I mean, they've got dudes, right? It's one of those things, though, where LSU's got the dudes that can beat their dudes. And if you do versus Alabama, you always have a shot to get it done. Blake, we didn't talk special teams. Special teams is going to be really big. And
Cole Adams is out. Their punt return. That's why another thing why turnovers is a massive thing. You got to punt. Make them field it. Play field position. These things always work too. Cole Adams being out is a big deal for Bama. And
you mentioned Kendrick Law. One kind of weird thing is he is a really, really good blocker on the perimeter. I forget their receivers coach name has gotten a lot of love this year for some of his quotes or whatever. I think it's Coach Shepard or something like that. He's been really good, coaching those guys up. But one thing I will say, and Kalen DeBoer is not going to feel pressure. I mean, the guy's coaching a national championship game. It is a little bit different, your first night game in Death Valley. So knowing that this is a playoff game, there's a lot of pressure on both these coaches to go out there and win it. I could see some errors from both of them. And look, when LSU won this game in 2022, Nick Saban made quite a few coaching errors. I mean, actually, he made a lot of uncharacteristic ones. And last year, obviously, what decided the game between LSU and Alabama was not change it to a QB spy. That was the number one reason why that game was decided, that Milroe was able to just run unabated and they were able to score every time because of it. So normally it's something like just very simple like that could decide it. So coaching between the headsets, say, no, this is the biggest game. Game day is going to be there. Lord Saban's going to be on the sideline. So it's going to be something to see.
Last one. Channing with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Says, thanks, y'all. If it's wet, does that take Death Valley advantage away? Well, the storm says that it's not even going to make landfall until Sunday around noon.
No.
We have Josh Eachus coming on from WBRZ, the lead meteorologist. He's going to be on our show tomorrow. We're doing a segment with him. So I think from what I understand, the current moment is he feels pretty significant that this is not going to impact the game at all.
I like the name Channing Brinholtz. That sounds like distinguished. It sounds like he would be good at chess or something like that.
It sounds like that he just drank his second scotch at his local country club.
Yes. We could light up a cigar and then go play some croquet or something.
Cricket.
Yes, exactly. Huh?
All right, Carter the Power Bryant. Always enjoy it. Where do you think LSU is in the poll tonight?
Oh, that's a good, juicy.
They're going to be 13th.
13th. Huh? Here's one thing I will say. Remember last week or the last time you were on, what was the percentage chance LSU has to win out their remaining schedule?
Yeah, I said 15%.
Yeah. So I would say around there. I was about like at 10%, but the Lagway injury has to change that some. I looked up ESPN.
About that. Billy said that it wasn't as bad as they thought.
Okay, DJ. I've not looked at anything Florida.
Yeah, they don't know if he's going to be out this week or not.
Okay, so it goes back down to 10%.
It'd be a miracle from manna from heaven if he plays. But to your point about what you're going to say,
yeah. So ESPN has LSU as a 4% chance to win out the rest of their schedule.
Bet you that jumps up to 30s in the 30s if they beat Bama.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Carter the Power Bryant. We'll see you, buddy.
See ya. Cheers.
All right, that's Carter the Power Bryant. We're gonna be out of here with him too. Y'all have a good one. Peace.